Tell me if this sounds familiar. You go to bed feeling tired, ready to get some much-needed rest, but a few hours later, you're wide awake. You glance at the clock. It's 2 a.m. Maybe 3 a.m. And no matter how hard you try, your body just won't drift back to sleep. You toss, you turn, you adjust your pillow, you even try counting sheep, but nothing works. If this happens to you more often than not, let me reassure you, you are not alone. Millions of people over the age of 60 face this exact struggle every single night. And it's not just about feeling restless. It's about lying there in the dark, frustrated, knowing that tomorrow will feel heavy, your body will ache a little more, your memory might feel a little fuzzier, and your energy won't be what you need it to be. The truth is, poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. Over time, it chips away at your health. It affects your memory, your heart, your mood, and even your independence. And that's why this conversation matters. Because you deserve nights filled with peace, not frustration. Now here's the good news. What if I told you there's a simple change you can make tonight, something as easy as swapping out your bedtime glass of water, that could help your body relax, calm your mind, and unlock deep, restful sleep again? That's exactly what we're diving into today. In this video, you'll discover a natural, soothing drink you can use instead of plain water before bed that may help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. We'll explore why sleep becomes harder as we age, the hidden mistakes most people make at night without realizing it, and of course, practical steps you can start using immediately. But before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Do you struggle more with falling asleep, or with staying asleep through the night? Drop your answer in the comments below, because your experience might help someone else feel less alone in theirs. And if you want more simple, science-backed tips for healthy aging, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Tips. This is your community, your space to learn, and your place to feel supported. Alright, let's dive in. Imagine this, you finally crawl into bed after a long day, and at first, everything feels fine. You drift off quickly, your body sinks into the mattress, and your eyes close. But then, just 3 hours later, you're wide awake. You stare at the ceiling, the room is silent, and the clock ticks louder than ever. You try rolling over, fluffing the pillow, pulling the blanket tighter, but deep down, you already know, sleep isn't coming back easily. For so many people over 60, this is not just a once-in-a-while inconvenience. It's an almost daily reality. And it's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because the body itself changes with age. Here's what happens: when you were younger, your body produced plenty of melatonin. The hormone that tells your brain, it's time to sleep. But as the years go by, melatonin levels naturally decline. On top of that, your circadian rhythm, that inner clock that tells you when to be alert and when to rest, becomes less precise. The result? Falling into a deep, restful sleep, and more importantly, staying there, becomes harder than ever. Now, here's where many people get it wrong. You might hear someone say, "Oh, that's just old age. There's nothing you can do." But that's not the truth. Yes, aging changes sleep patterns, but it doesn't mean you're doomed to restless nights forever. Small, intentional changes can make a world of difference. For example, keeping a consistent bedtime, even on weekends, trains your body's clock. Dimming the lights an hour before bed gives your brain the signal that night has arrived. Avoiding caffeine after midday prevents that subtle alertness from sneaking in when you should be winding down. And just as important, turning off screens or at least putting them away for the last hour before bed helps your brain release melatonin instead of blocking it with blue light. These steps might sound simple, but when practiced consistently, they create an environment where sleep comes more naturally. And while these habits are powerful, there's another factor most people overlook: what you drink before bed. Because the truth is, your evening beverage may be quietly sabotaging your rest. And in just a moment, I'll show you why swapping that glass of plain water for something else could be the missing key to unlocking deep, restorative sleep. Now let me ask you this, have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, not because of noise or stress, but simply because you needed to use the bathroom? You shuffle out of bed, the floor feels cold beneath your feet, and by the time you return under the covers, your sleep is gone. You're awake, restless, and frustrated. That single trip to the bathroom just stole an hour, or maybe the whole rest of your night. This, right here, is one of the hidden culprits behind interrupted sleep. It even has a name, nocturia. And it's incredibly common in people over 60. Nocturia simply means frequent urination during the night, and one of the biggest triggers? Drinking plain water right before bed. You see, water is essential for your body, there's no denying that. But here's the problem, when you load up on it just before sleep, your bladder doesn't take a break. Instead of giving your body permission to sink into deep rest, it sends you an urgent wake-up call in the middle of the night. And those bathroom trips don't just interrupt your rest, they cut into your most precious stage of sleep, deep, restorative sleep. That's the phase your brain needs to repair memory, your body needs to restore energy, and your heart needs to recharge. Now here's where many people are misled. You might think, well, staying hydrated is always good, so drinking a lot of water before bed must be healthy. But the truth is, overdoing it in the evening might be stealing hours of the very rest your body desperately needs. Hydration matters, but timing matters just as much. So what can you do? The practical solution is simple, cut back on plain water in the last hour before bed. Don't deprive yourself during the day, make sure you're drinking enough earlier, but as night approaches, ease up. Then, instead of reaching for that last glass of water, replace it with something soothing, something that doesn't just keep you from waking up, but actually helps your body relax and slip into deep sleep. So, what should you drink instead? Here's where the natural solution comes in. For generations, long before sleeping pills or modern supplements, families relied on simple, calming bedtime drinks to ease their minds and prepare their bodies for rest. Picture this, a grandmother sitting quietly by the fire with a warm cup in her hands, sipping slowly before bed. Or a parent gently passing down the habit of warm milk or soothing tea to their children. These traditions go back hundreds of years, and for good reason. They work. Science today confirms what our ancestors already knew, certain natural drinks contain compounds that tell the body it's time to rest. Take chamomile tea, for example. It's gentle, caffeine-free, and packed with antioxidants that relax the nervous system. A cup of chamomile doesn't just warm you, it soothes your mind, calms your heartbeat, and helps the brain slip into a sleep-ready state. Or consider tart cherry juice. This one surprises many people, but tart cherries are one of the very few natural sources of melatonin, the very hormone your brain needs to regulate sleep. Studies have shown that older adults who drink a small serving of tart cherry juice in the evening often fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. And then there's golden milk, warm milk blended with a little turmeric, sometimes with cinnamon or honey. Not only is it comforting and nostalgic, but turmeric also reduces inflammation in the body, while milk provides tryptophan, an amino acid that boosts both melatonin and serotonin. Together, this creates a powerful signal for your body, it's time to slow down. It's time to rest. But here's the catch, many people overlook these natural solutions because they believe only medication can fix their sleep problems. They assume that without a prescription, there's no way to reset their nights. But that's not entirely true. Yes, medication has its place, but natural remedies can be surprisingly effective, and without the side effects that often come with sleep pills. Sometimes, the simplest habits provide the biggest relief. So here's a practical tip you can try starting tonight, about 30 to 45 minutes before bed, prepare yourself a small cup of one of these drinks. Sip it slowly, without rushing. Make it part of your nightly wind-down ritual. Don't think of it as just a drink, think of it as a signal to your mind and body that the day is done, and rest is about to begin. Of course, a bedtime drink works best when it's paired with a few supportive habits, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Think of your evening as a theater performance. The drink you sip before bed? That's the final act, the moment the curtain falls, and the body knows it's time to rest. But like any good performance, the stage must first be set. And if the stage is cluttered, noisy, or chaotic, the final act loses its power. Your body works in the same way. To truly get the most from that calming bedtime drink, you need to create an evening environment that whispers to your brain, "It's safe now. It's time to let go." Here's what science tells us: your nervous system needs quiet signals before it can fully switch off. Bright lights, loud noises, or constant stimulation keep your body stuck in alert mode, producing stress hormones instead of sleep hormones. But when you dim the lights, reduce background noise, and slow your pace, your brain starts producing melatonin, the natural sleep hormone you've been missing. It's your body's way of saying, "Good night." But here's the trap many people fall into. They believe they can drink a cup of tea or milk, then scroll through their phone or watch television right until bedtime, and still expect to fall asleep easily. The truth is, blue light from screens can suppress melatonin production for hours. That means even if your eyes feel heavy, your brain is still on alert, wired instead of ready for rest. So how do you set the stage for the best sleep possible? Try simple, calming habits that pair perfectly with your evening drink. Turn off bright lights and use a lamp or night light with a warm glow. Put on gentle music or soothing sounds to quiet the mind. Some people like to read a few pages of a light-hearted book, while others find peace in writing down 3 things they're grateful for that day. Gratitude journaling may sound small, but it can calm racing thoughts and replace them with a sense of peace just before bed. When you combine these habits with a sleep-promoting drink, you're not just forcing your body to sleep, you're guiding it gently, almost like leading a child by the hand into calmness. The body responds beautifully to routine, and every night you practice these steps, the easier it becomes. But what if you're still struggling, even after all of this? What if the nights remain restless despite your best efforts? That's when this next point becomes critical. I once had a friend who brushed off her sleep struggles for years. She told herself, "It's just part of getting older. Nothing I can do about it." She'd wake up several times each night, drag herself through the day, and convince herself it was normal. But later, she discovered something important: her restless nights weren't just about age. They were linked to an underlying condition she never would have suspected. And that's the truth many people don't realize. Sleep difficulties aren't always harmless. In fact, chronic sleep problems can sometimes be a warning sign of something more serious happening in the body. Take sleep apnea, for example. It's a condition where breathing briefly stops and starts during sleep. Most people don't even know it's happening, they just wake up feeling exhausted no matter how many hours they've spent in bed. Or think about restless leg syndrome, those uncomfortable sensations in the legs that make it nearly impossible to fall asleep peacefully. And in some cases, frequent disruptions in sleep patterns can even be an early sign of cognitive decline, something no one wants to ignore. Here's where the misconception comes in. Too often, people assume poor sleep is simply an inconvenience. They believe it's harmless, something to just put up with. But in reality, untreated sleep problems can lead to bigger health concerns, heart issues, memory decline, mood changes, even a weakened immune system. Over time, lack of rest doesn't just make you tired. It chips away at your overall health and independence. So if your nights are filled with constant interruptions, or if you find yourself relying on naps just to get through the day, it may be time to take a closer look. Pay attention to the patterns. If your sleep troubles are severe or persistent, don't hesitate to bring it up with your doctor. Especially if you've noticed other signs like loud snoring, pauses in breathing during the night, ongoing memory lapses, or extreme fatigue during the day. These aren't just little annoyances. They are signals from your body asking for attention. I know this can sound overwhelming. The idea that sleep problems could be tied to something bigger may even make you feel uneasy. But don't lose hope. Because the very fact that you're paying attention, that you're learning about these possibilities, means you already have more control than you think. You have the knowledge to make changes, to ask questions, and to seek the right support. And that brings us to the heart of this message. Yes, sleep struggles can be challenging. Yes, they can sometimes point to deeper health concerns. But there is always a way forward. I know it can be heartbreaking to lie awake night after night, staring at the ceiling, wishing for sleep that just won't come. Or maybe even harder, watching someone you love struggle, seeing the dark circles under their eyes, hearing the frustration in their voice, knowing how exhaustion wears them down day by day. It can leave you feeling helpless, as though this is simply the way life has to be from now on. But here's the truth, you don't have to accept restless nights as your new normal. Instead of viewing this as a hopeless part of aging, think of it as your body gently asking for extra care, extra attention, and extra compassion. Poor sleep isn't your body giving up, it's your body asking for support. And the good news is, you don't need to overhaul your life to start making a difference. Sometimes it begins with the smallest steps. Something as simple as what you drink before bed can completely change how your night unfolds. So tonight, instead of reaching for a plain glass of water, try replacing it with a soothing, sleep-promoting drink. Sip it slowly. Make it part of your evening ritual. And then notice how your body responds. Because here's the beautiful part, change doesn't have to be dramatic to be effective. Small changes, done consistently, begin to add up. One better night of sleep leads to more energy the next day. More energy leads to a clearer mind, a brighter mood, and more strength for the things you love. And over time, those little victories build into a life where nights feel peaceful again, mornings feel lighter, and your days feel more your own. You are not powerless. Even if sleep has been a struggle for years, there are still choices within your reach, choices that can bring you comfort, choices that can bring you rest, and choices that can give you back the strength you thought you had lost. So take heart. Because every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward better nights, healthier days, and a life where rest is not just a wish, but a reality. To recap what we've explored together today, we uncovered why sleep becomes more difficult after 60, how a simple glass of water at night can quietly disrupt your rest, the powerful natural bedtime drinks that encourage deeper, more peaceful sleep, the evening habits that prepare your body and mind for rest, and the signs that poor sleep may be linked to something more serious that deserves professional attention. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite nighttime ritual that helps you unwind and prepare for sleep? Is it a warm drink, a favorite book, a short prayer, or maybe a few minutes of gentle stretching? Share it in the comments below. Your wisdom could be the exact tip that helps someone else in our community finally find the rest they've been missing. If you found value in today's video, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. It really helps this message reach more people who may be silently struggling with the same challenges. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Tips, where we share practical, compassionate insights to make healthy aging not just possible, but enjoyable. Most importantly, remember this, you deserve restful nights and energized mornings. You deserve to wake up refreshed, not exhausted. Sleep is not just a luxury, it's the foundation of your health, your mood, and your independence. Protect it, nurture it, and allow yourself the care you need. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Stay strong, stay informed, and always remember, you are capable of positive change, no matter your age. I'll see you in the next video.